treat trees with. You spray it around the roots basically, or the base of the tree. It's very expensive though, it's about $800. You have to treat your trees every year with these chemicals, and you know, it's just a temporary fix. They're not even 100% positive that if you spent this money every year, you know, $800–900 to treat a tree, that it would actually work. And a lot of the ash trees in my ward are both on private property and residential property. And I have some of my residents that they have 4 or 5 ash trees on their property. So, you know, it can be really expensive for you to treat all your ash trees with something that might not even work.
So what's the federal government actually doing about this?
They're trying to track the ash borers. They're looking for areas that are infested, and then they're basically clear cutting the ash trees out, because there's no known cure for the ash borer. It's come from Asia. The only natural predator that it has in Canada is a type of wasp or bee that feeds on ash borers, and that's actually one of the tests that they use. They have these mobile beehives, and they will put them in an area, and the bees will go out, and if they find an ash borer, they actually catch it, kill it, and bring it back to the hive. And that's when the scientists have some idea, or evidence that there's ash borer in an area. Some of the problem that I have as a city councillor, and that my residents are having, because ash trees have a 60 to 80 year lifespan, and a lot of the ash trees in my area are also reaching the end of their lifespan. So people are, looking at their yard or in their backyard, and they're looking at an ash tree that's actually dying, and they're because all the information, or the amount of the emerald ash borer has been in the news, they're looking at a tree and saying, must be infested with the emerald ash borer, and they're calling a private arborist or private tree company that's coming out and looking at it. And there's some very reputable tree companies in Toronto and some not so reputable ones, and they're looking at it and saying, oh yeah, it's been infested by the emerald ash borer, you need to cut it down. And some of these ash trees are quite large, $2,000 to $3,000, and then they're calling my office, and I follow the procedures, and I contact the federal government. The federal government sends somebody out and looks at the tree and says, well, no, it's not infected at all. It's just dying. It's at the end of its lifespan. And that's my concern, is a lot of individuals can't recognize what an ash borer infestation is in their tree. And if you just take the arborist's word for it, you go out and spend $2,000 or $3,000 and cut a tree down that you don't need to, it's money out of your pocket.
So what's the City of Toronto doing about it?
Basically, just we're working with the federal government, trying to identify areas that have been infested, or even trees that have been infested, getting them cut down as quickly as possible to limit it. There's federal government. We're also working in conjunction with the federal government. If you cut down trees in Toronto, you can't take the wood outside of the City of Toronto. So we're trying to, build our own barrier around it and try and cut down on the spread of it. We used to, our own forestry department, when they cut trees down, used to chip the wood up and then give it away for free. We don't do that anymore either.
Okay, so how are you guys dealing with residents then? How do you help them with the problem?
I've had a couple of community meetings. I've had some scientists in the Guild area, where there's more ash trees than anywhere else in my ward, just trying to help people to understand what to look for their emerald ash tree, if it might be infected, and basically, what it means to, and how they have to contact the city government or the federal government if they have an infected tree on their property.
So is the city actually administering the vaccine?
No, it's something that you have to buy privately, right? And from the city perspective, we're looking at it. It's so it's cost prohibitive. It's so expensive to buy and administer, and it's something that we're not even sure if it works. So, you know, is that really a good use of your city tax dollars to be paying for something that's so expensive you don't even know if it works properly?
Can you tell me anything else about it?
Just that it started in southwestern Ontario, and it's been spreading eastward, and, you know, we're doing everything we can to try and control it and set up almost like a barrier, so any area that we do find where there's an infested tree, it's being cut down right away, and we're doing the best we can to control it. It's just at this point, and the federal government is trying to find a more effective chemical that they can apply to the trees that will kill the ash borer. It's just at this point they haven't been able to find anything.
Okay, thank you for your time.